What's up, guys? I'm backed up. I don't know if you know what that means without context, but you know. I'm backed up with a bunch of videos, especially Dragon Age Inquisition. It makes me sad that I've gotten so behind when it comes to Dragon Age Inquisition news and all that stuff. I would love to be able to do videos as the news comes out and stuff. But as some of you know, due to recent situations here at home that have changed my schedule and my responsibilities, it's really hard for me to get not only Dragon Age Inquisition videos, but videos in general out as regularly as I used to, even though I used to not always, like, every day put videos up, but I did do them a little bit more regularly than now. Like, now I get maybe one video up every week. What this speculation video is going to contain is my speculations on that previous trailer, which was the one where it showed all the environments, as well as the new trailer, the Inquisitor trailer, the one with the gameplay, that one, and just like random stuff like pictures and characters. When I say speculation, obviously, I still have to clarify this, but obviously it means that it's not it's probably not going to be in the game. It's just me making theories or, you know, guessing what might be happening because of what we're seeing and what we're hearing and stuff like that. Since a lot of time has passed since I wrote these notes, some things may have already been addressed, but I still want to talk a little bit about them. Let me know in the comments down below if anything that I talk about is like, oh no, they already said that's not going to happen or whatever, or that is going to happen, or, you know, we're not going to be going there or whatever. So if you guys are more up to date than I am, just let me know in the comments down below, because I think I'm caught up. I think I am. I hope I am. But just in case, you know, feel free to let me know in the comments down below if you know something that maybe I don't address, or if it sounds like maybe I'm not aware of something. Also, The Masked Empire. I am currently still reading the book, so this speculation video is not going to contain anything on The Masked Empire. That's going to be a separate video where I talk about Dragon Age Inquisition and The Masked Empire. So first off, I want to start off with the first trailer, like the big trailer. The first big trailer, the one with where it showed off the environments. We first heard the Inquisitor's voice in that trailer. A few things that I initially saw made me think one thing, and then recently BioWare has been saying something that kind of negates what I had originally thought. You know what? For this, I need to have the Dragon Age map. Hold up. Okay, I have the Thetis map, and I'm going to be looking at this while I talk about it because I have to look at it in order to remember. BioWare hasn't completely said no to this. Now, they have confirmed that we're going to Orlais, Ferelden, and the Dales. Originally, there had been some confusion that we were going to end up going to Navarra as well as the other three places and the Free Marches. BioWare straight up said, we're not going there. They have only confirmed 3 places, but Mike Laidlaw said that Navarra and the Free Marches are heavily mentioned. They are mentioned, but we don't actually go there. So what I've been thinking is, if ever since we saw that trailer, and ever since before that, because we had heard that, you know, Tevinter was playing a big role in Dragon Age Inquisition, and we were even seeing some, like, Tevinter mages, and we were getting the idea that a big part of the enemy in Dragon Age Inquisition is Tevinter, the Tevinter Imperium. So I was like, what if we end up going to Tevinter? The minute I saw the trailer, I was like, oh my god, this is definitely Tevinter. But then when BioWare said, no, we're not, we're only, right now, we're only confirming these 3 places, I was like, maybe they're just not saying Tevinter yet. Maybe Tevinter is still in the down low. Maybe they're keeping that secret still. So it's not like they haven't really said these are the only 3 places we're going. Maybe it is. Maybe those 3 places are the only places we're going. But I feel like maybe they're keeping Tevinter a secret. In that trailer, in the environments trailer, we see Tevinter flags. Now, they're obvious Tevinter flags in a room, and So I was like, maybe this is a place in Tevinter, but it doesn't prove that just because of the flags, because we know from Dragon Age Asunder, the novel, that there's an abandoned Tevinter base, I believe it was, that's called the Androl's Reach. The mages in Asunder towards the end, they ended up at Androl's Reach. They stayed there to be safe in the meantime while everything settled with the Templars and all that. Maybe the pictures we saw is Androl's Reach, and Androl's Reach is in Orlais. So it's still not like, oh, that's definitely Tevinter. That could still be just Orlais, and maybe it's showing off Androl's Reach, because Androl's Reach played a big role at the end of Asunder, and I'm guessing that Dragon Age Inquisition is going to be ending up maybe starting at Androl's Reach, or maybe that's where everything goes down, because that's where the mages are, and maybe the Templars come or something. What makes me think even more that maybe it is Tevinter and not just Androl's Reach is the location where it shows like a beach, and it shows the ocean, and you see this huge dwarven statue. The thing that makes me question the location of this area is the water. It looks like an ocean. It looks like a sea. So the only place that I was thinking that it could be where you would see dwarven taigs or dwarven statues of this magnitude, where there is an ocean or a sea, is in the High Reaches, in the Tevinter Imperium location, is specifically Minrathous. Some people have speculated that this is probably Kalsharok, a dwarven taig that is not over by that is not in Ferelden, but is actually over by Orlais. But there is no water around there. There are little tiny lakes around it, but they're far. They're not around Kalsharok. Like Kalsharok is within the mountains. For the scenery to be showing the statue pretty much in the water, above the water, that the land masses, the water masses here that are in the map are too far away for them to be that land mass or that water mass. This is what I was thinking of before they said this. That I was like, that's most likely Minrathous. That statue is most likely Endron Stonehammer or Orsec Garal. He was a king and then he became a paragon afterwards. But I think it's Stonehammer because he was the first paragon. And the reason why it makes sense that, you know, that Stonehammer is even there, where you're like, okay, well, if it is Minrathous, then why would a dwarven statue even be there in Tevinter? If you don't know, the history of the dwarves is very tight knit with the Tevinter Imperium. They have embassies there, and it makes sense because the Tevinter Imperium is pretty much a mageocracy. It's full of mages, so the dwarves have a connection with lyrium and all that, and they can actually mine it and stuff. So that's where the Tevinter Imperium gets their lyrium, from the dwarves. The relationship between the dwarves and Tevinter was started by Stonehammer and a magister named Dorinius. So it makes sense to have a statue of Stonehammer here in Minrathous, and also because there are currently, I think, 2 embassies of the dwarves there in Minrathous underground. And in that trailer, we do see a taig of some sort underground with dwarves with armor that we've never really seen before. And there is also another statue. I was really excited. I was like, oh my god, that's gotta be Stonehammer. And this has gotta be the coast of Minrathous in Tevinter. But then Tevinter hasn't been confirmed as a location, and it sounds like there are only 3 locations, which are Orlais, Ferelden, and the Dales. So with that in mind, this is probably just Kalharal. Kalharal is on the coast of Amaranthine, so there is an ocean there, the Amaranthine Ocean. Kalharal there is enough history there that's related to the Tevinter, and even Stonehammer, and Kadash, the Kadash taig, which we are going to be, if you're a dwarf, if you choose to be a dwarf, you are from the Kadash family. The alliance that had been created between the dwarves and the Tevinter Imperium by Stonehammer and the Magister, the Tevinter Magister Darinius, the dwarves of the Kadash Taig had harbored fleeing elves during the time that Arlathan was pretty much destroyed by the Tevinter Imperium. There was an alliance between the dwarves and the Tevinter Imperium, so the Kadash Taig was harboring pretty much slaves or fugitives to the Tevinter Imperium, because the Tevinter Imperium wanted these elves as slaves, or they just didn't want them to be protected at all, especially by the dwarves, since they had an alliance between them. When the dwarves of Kalsharok, which were the dwarves of Stonehammer, when they found out what was going on, what the Kadash Taig was doing, what in Kalharal, they were like, oh hell nah, because this was really making them look bad as dwarves, and with the alliance that they had, so they attacked Kadash Taig. We do play a little bit of this in the DLC. I believe it was, what DLC was it? Oh my god, was it Witch Hunt? Or was it Awakening? Oh my god, I don't remember. It was one of the DLCs for Dragon Age Origins. We played, we actually went to Kadash Taig, and we took Shale with us. So that's what the dwarves of Kalsharok did. They attacked the Kadash Taig because of what they were doing with the fleeing ancient elves from Arlathan, so that they could protect the alliance that they had with the Tevinter Imperium. It makes a lot of sense to have that background being from the Kadash Taig and having that kind of history with the Tevinter Imperium. There's a really interesting connection there with the golems as well. So as much as I would love it to be Minrathous and Tevinter, and we would go to Tevinter, I'm also really excited to think that this is probably, this history that I was just talking about is probably going to play a role in your background or in your history or in your story for your dwarven inquisitor, if you choose to be a dwarf, since your last name is going to be Kadash. So moving on, another piece of scenery that we see in that trailer is the swamplands. BioWare has been posting some pictures of the marshes, I believe. So these are most likely going to be the Nahashin marshes that are in Orlais, or maybe the Sulphur Lakes that are also in Orlais, but that's like going a little bit more south. So I'm guessing it's the Nahashin marshes. The reason why I mentioned the Sulphur Lakes is because of the water looks like it's boiling in one of the shots. So I was like, okay, well, sulfur, anything that's made out of sulfur, you would think, you know, volcanic. One of the things that I'm almost certain about is that we are going to be traveling the Imperial Highway. The Imperial Highway will pretty much get you from Ferelden all the way up to the frickin' Tevinter Imperium. You could go pretty much anywhere on Thetis if you follow the Imperial Highway. So I don't want to go too much more into that trailer because everything else is kind of obvious with what we see. We do see like the Templar locations. You could kind of tell where they are because of the surrounding environment, like the snow-filled places. It's almost like, oh, that's probably around the Frostback Mountains, either on the Orlais side or on the Ferelden side. A beefy Grey Warden. This is so David Gator. Check this out. This Grey Warden, he's going through his calling. He's having symptoms. He's like, this is it. Like, this is the end of my life. And I've got to do something about it. And then he's a romance.